Okay, I've pressed, and it says, right, okay, cool, we're live. Amazing.
What, this means we're actually live and that people can talk to us?
I think so. I'm just going to keep checking the YouTube feed to make sure that it's streaming onto the account. Yes.
I think we should
just live.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
You think maybe we should just introduce ourselves so that people actually know who we are before we start gassing away? Jade, why don't you start? Why don't you tell us about you and who you are?
Me. Well, hi, I'm Jade. I live on the south coast in Dorset in the UK. And I am an IVF mum to my little girl. It feels so funny saying it to you girls because you must know my story more than I know it now. But for anyone who's watching that doesn't know, I'm a mum to a beautiful little three-nager. She's 3. Her name is Layla. And we have just recently gone through another round of IVF. When I first started to... I guess when we first were trying for a baby and realised that it just really wasn't happening naturally way back when, there was nothing available at all, really. I mean, I think it was probably a lot more improved from when you were, though, Sara, but there wasn't much out there at all for me. So I've just always had this like burning desire and a passion to sort of be a part of a community and to create a community with other people in that way, to sort of make people feel like they're not alone on the journey. So this just feels like massive. I'm so excited. So that's just a very little bit about me.
Jodie, come on, tell us about you.
Okay, so I'm Jodie. I'm also an IVF mummy. I have a 10-month-old. I currently live in Sheffield. And during my journey, I really fell in love with writing. Writing was a really big escape for me, and from that I am now a published author. Top 5 international bestseller, may I add. I have to get that.
So the 5, that's impressive.
Top 5.
Yeah.
The book's called If Only, spelled IVF only. I'm sure you'll see it all over Insta, and we'll probably chat about it at some point as well. But yeah, my whole intention is the same as, of course, yours too. I want to offer support to anybody that's going through the same things that we did, education for people that are not aware, that want to learn more, and just build the community and break down that stigma that society seems to have wrapped around our trying to conceive community.
And I should say there's just the 3 of us today, but because of the nature of IVF and fertility treatment, stuff happens, which means, you know, we couldn't have Nicola with us today, but she will be back, won't she? And, you know, we want to get people involved, don't we, going forwards? We want to invite guests in and you know, and experts too, don't we? But it's just the 3 of us today. So in a nutshell, I'm like the old veteran.
You're not old. Stop it.
You know what? I always sit in the morning, if I like wash my hands, I think, oh, okay, I don't know about today. And then I see you 2 and I'm reminded of how old I am.
Can I just say that happened to me when I logged on? So I was like, oh, you don't look too bad today. And I logged on just to see, because you get a preview of what you look like. And then I saw Jade and I was like, yeah, Jodie, you don't look great.
Oh, stop. Don't say that. I mean, I very rarely put makeup on, but it's been, I'm not going to lie, it's been the overwhelming blanket of, am I allowed to say shit on here? I'm not, am I? The way the hormones made me feel, I feel like I'm trying to claw back who I am. Like, I just feel so far from me. I don't even remember. I remember feeling rubbish the first time, but I felt really, really, really crap this time. And in the morning, I've been getting up. But I don't know, is it a good thing? I've been thinking, I've got to put some makeup on. I've got to feel a bit human today. I need to make an effort. Or I'm just going through the days looking like I belong on a Halloween set of Dawn of the Dead or something like that. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
See, I really felt exactly the same about feeling like I didn't look my best. But I felt like I had to over-justify why I didn't look my best. So whenever we were out in public, if we bumped into like we went to view a house while I was going through IVF, and the lady in the sales office was really lovely. And I didn't know this woman. I was unlikely to ever see her again, but I felt an urge to say, I'm going through IVF, which is why I look this bad. And when we left, I mean, that was just an example, but when we left, my husband was like, why you didn't have to tell her that we were going through IVF? And I said to him, but I felt like I needed to justify why I look so bad. And he couldn't wrap his head around the fact that I felt compelled to tell people that I was going through IVF because I was embarrassed about how horrific I looked. So I
totally feel you. I completely. Yeah. And it's not even until you've just said it that I really realised that it was an issue. But I'm not kidding you. Not to make it the me show, but last week after I had my collection, anyone who is not here through any form of my social media platform might not know, but it was horrendous. And I ended up, after the horrendous pain of having these swollen and leaky ovaries, after having these eggs collected, I then realised that I'd not been for a poo for about 2 weeks. So I went into Sainsbury's and begged for laxatives off the lady in the chemist with my mother-in-law stood there like, Jade, I don't think you need to be telling her all this stuff. And I was just like, and I really need to go for a poo because I haven't been for days and it's really hurting me. And just give me whatever laxatives you've got. I don't want like a weak one. I've had IVF. Do you understand how IVF works? And my mother-in-law was just a bit like, she's not even on drugs anymore. Like, what's going on? And I just thought it was like Jodie.
No, don't you feel like we often seek validation? That's the best way that I can describe it, because it's so easy to doubt yourself and to think, should I be feeling this way? Is it normal to feel this way? Which is the whole reason why we're doing this. Yes, it's normal. But at the time, I feel like we seek validation from those that are close to us, strangers, those that might be in the same place as us, those that are not. So we constantly give off this justification because I think that we seek approval. I think that we seek validation for what we're feeling and what we're going through. That's certainly how I felt. And it's only now.
When I was, and again, like I said, this was a long time ago, I would go out of my way to make myself look good, right? Mm-hmm. You know, always try and look good to overcompensate. Mm-hmm. But no matter what I did, I still felt inferior to all the other people I knew because they were proper women. Yeah. They functioned, they had periods, they could get well, at the time, I you know, most of them weren't trying in the early days when I was. But still, I saw these perfect women who were having perfect periods every month. Yeah. And eventually, they all started to get pregnant. And so my self-esteem dropped even lower. So no matter how good my outfit was or how good my hair was that day, the fact remained I still didn't feel as an equal. Yeah. I didn't feel like a complete woman, which is so awful. So awful.
Yeah, see, I've certainly felt this time round, I felt more empowered by my journey this time round. I've certainly felt more of a like, this is fine. Like I think I've been more accepting of it, but that's probably to do with the inner work I've had to do along the way. Like it's been no mean feat. Like the first time round, I was very much, when you said about seeking validation, I don't know if that was me, because I was just nuts the first time round. Like, I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm probably going to get judged for this so bad. But hey, you get judged anyway, don't you?
No judgment here.
We judge ourselves. I remember the first time around. This prominent memory is why it's taken so long for us to have the IVF, and where 99% of my anxiety came from through having it again. So I really did not get on with the Gonalef at all, which for anyone that's watching is the stim drugs that I were on to encourage my ovaries to produce all the follicles to collect all the little eggs from at the end of the IVF. And I remember loving McDonald's milkshakes, like they were my best friend while I was having the IVF. And we went and got McDonald's milkshake, and Ian was sat in the seat next to me. My mother-in-law was in the back. And I drove out of McDonald's up the road, and a guy in a truck, like a builder's truck, I just pulled over from the fast lane to the left-hand lane. Didn't cut him up. Like, I was making conscious effort not to, because I was feeling cranky. And I remember he honked his horn and gave me some abuse. And I kid you not, a rage within inside of me flipped, like, honestly, like a red mist. I pulled my handbrake up in the middle of the roundabout. I got out of the car. I took my milkshake, and he saw me running at his car. I swear to God, he put his window up so quickly, and I just threw my milkshake at his windscreen, and I went mad. I lost my shit there in that moment. And I got back in the car. I put my hands on the steering wheel, and I just sobbed.
Oh,
honestly. And Ian just looked at me, and he was like, and he knew, because he knew I was nuts by this point. There was so much more to this first round of IVF. And he was like, babe, just let me drive. And I was like, no, I'm fine. He was like, I was sobbing. He was like, just pull around there into Sainsbury's car park. And I just pulled into the car park, and I just cried. And my mother-in-law was like this. I just sat there like, what in holy hell has just happened? And I just could not control my emotions. And that alone put the fear of Christ in me, that I should never have IVF while with having Layla, because I thought, oh my God, that would terrify if that ever happened again. And it didn't. I did not get any kind of rage respond.
But did you, after that incident, did you go to your doctor and say, look, what's going on here?
No, I didn't feel like I could even speak up. I was so embarrassed. This is the first time outside of my family that I've told anybody about that story, because I was so ashamed. Like, people would be like, she's an absolute nutcase. But now I look back and think it's part of my journey. It's what it is. We've all done crazy stuff. And I was drugged up to the eyeballs there trying to have a baby, feeling a load of emotions. It doesn't mean it's right, but it's what's happened. It's what happened. So
were you given a heads up first that there are side effects, there are mood swings and, menopausal symptoms?
Well, maybe the menopausal symptoms, I'm not sure if that's something that I researched, but even to this day, when I went in for one of my scans at my clinic last time, when I walked in and they were like, you're right. I was like, I feel so ill. And they were like, really? When I was on the buserelin. And it was the really? And I was like, actually, really yourself? You've clearly never had IVF. Don't really mean like it's not normal, because this is really normal. Like, I've had it twice now. 3 times I've had buserelin. Made me feel like the donkey donk every time. So I don't know. I feel like even for anyone that's watching that's had to have IVF, or I feel like sometimes even our clinics can let us down a little bit.
Yeah.
They can. And I don't think they mean to, because we're all humans and everyone goes to work and goes about their business, and you get up in the morning, and these people are not like robots. They don't live in these clinics, and they come in, and where they do it so much, sometimes maybe it's a bit like they go on autopilot and don't realize. But I hear all the time, I don't know, I'm sure you girls do as well. I have so many people inbox me like, oh, I've been told this, or this person said this at my clinic, and now it's made me feel like this. And this is why the volume needs to be turned up on it, because we all need reminding of how crazy it is. And although these 2 rounds of IVF were completely different in so many different ways, there were still crazy things to pull out of each one, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Of course. I just think it would be a really nice idea if patients were just given a bit more of a heads up about what to expect. And so, I won't go into it, because we've spoken before about that, the horrible severe OHSS that I had. But again, I wasn't really told much about it. Everything's, back then it was just in little pamphlets, right? Who's going to read the small print? You just want to get pregnant, right? You do what it takes. I just wish
that is it, isn't it? That is it.
Yeah, that's the only question you want the answer to. Right, how long is this going to take? When am I going to take the pregnancy test? That's it. Everything else is just wow.
But don't you think it'd be a really important requirement of these clinics to point you in the direction of support at the start of treatment?
Yes.
Because my clinic didn't offer any in-house support unless you were a donor, at which point and that's you being the donor. You received counselling, but other than that, there wasn't anything anywhere that I could go in-house at the clinic. And I feel like even if the clinic's not providing it themselves, they should certainly point you in the direction, or at least make you aware. And if you want support, there is support out there, because people need to know that. That's really important. People need to walk away from that clinic knowing that they are absolutely not on their own, because that's the most isolating feeling in the world.
So the only support I got the first time round was with counselling, and that was after my first round failed, and that made me so much worse. It was horrendous. I thought it was awful. I remember being like, I'd never have counselling for anything again. Oh my God. And I feel awful. I hope the counsellor never watches this, because it just wasn't what I needed. I couldn't even tell you now at the time if she had been through what we'd been through. I don't know if I wasn't from a place of receiving the support she was trying to give me. I just remember being told that that's it. That's what I was feeling was, well, they're not really normal feelings, and not feelings I should have. And we needed to work through me not having those feelings. And
so straight away, the professional invalidated you.
Massively. And she also said to me, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I feel like I'm being really nasty, but she said to me at the time, oh God, a friend of mine had a baby, a really close friend, and she'd not had to try very long to fall pregnant, and I was overjoyed for her. I was never one of those people that weren't happy for my friends. I remember when she first told me thinking, damn, she fell pregnant in like 6 weeks. But the only reason she started trying is because most of our friendship circle had a longer journey to fall pregnant. I mean, I was the only one that ended up with the IVF and like the long-term fertility problems. And I remember she was almost coaxing me into saying, it's okay, you can own up to the fact that you're really jealous and bitter towards your friend. And I was like, I'm really not. And she was like, you just need to admit it. And I was like, I remember her reducing me to tears. I don't feel strong then. I'd love to have this conversation with her now, but I just cried so much. And I remember leaving there, and Ian wasn't with me. I was by myself, and I sobbed. I was literally sobbing when I left. And I remember thinking, like, that can't be good for anyone. And I don't know, I hope one of you have probably had a more positive counselling experience than me. That literally made my mind up there, and then I was like, that wasn't the help that I needed. Definitely not.
What she was doing there was putting, like Jodie said, she was taking away the validity of what you were feeling, and planting up thoughts into your planting things into your head as opposed to listening. Because the thing is, some people do struggle with friends and their pregnancies. I did, and I did feel jealousy and anger. I did feel that way, but it's not for someone to. No one can say, well, you do feel like this. It almost like pulling it out of you. Do you know what I mean? So I never had counselling. It just sounds to me like you just had a bad counsellor. Because
maybe. Or maybe I just weren't feeling too receptive. Maybe I just weren't in the right place for it. Just while we're on the subject of talking about counselling, we've had a lovely lady called Corinne who has said that morning she's starting her medicated frozen embryo transfer tomorrow. She had a failed fresh cycle in February, and this is their one and only frozen embryo. And she's also said that listening to our view on counselling, she starts tomorrow with a little hands over the face emoji. I'm so sorry, Corinne, I didn't mean to scare you. I mean, that was just personally my experience.
I've got to say, I regret not having counselling. I truly, truly, truly do. And I know I've got a lot of shit. Okay, we're saying the word shit. I've got a lot of shit suppressed and stuff that I didn't deal with. But like I said, all I wanted was someone to listen to. I didn't want the kind that you had telling me how I should be thinking. I just wanted someone
telling you that you've got a problem. Like, oh, no, I've got enough problems, babes. I can't get pregnant naturally. You don't need to tell me how many more problems. You don't need to add any more shit to that list. So it says here, Corinne said that she's felt really negative recently, worrying that your egg won't thaw, etc. You're 39 in a few weeks, and in your head it's your last chance. I mean, that's got to be pretty overwhelming, hasn't it? That's got to be I think we've all felt that feeling of overwhelm at some point.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really important as well that even if tomorrow isn't what you expect it to be, or it's not quite what you wanted it to be, perhaps just give it a bit of a chance. You know, depending on where we are at the time, like you said, Jade, sometimes at the time you're not quite open to it. It doesn't mean that it's not going to help next time or in the future. Or so yeah, I definitely hope that you get everything you need from that.
Yeah, and it probably what's worth mentioning as well, Corinne, is that I don't personally think, for me, there's no set way in which you have to deal with your feelings or sort of heal yourself. Like, I'm massively into all kinds of stuff like that, and my journey really started after I'd had my fresh cycle, my fresh failed cycle of IVF. So I'd had that in the November, and although I'd told myself it was going to work the whole way through, like, I don't think my behaviours were necessarily very positive, and my outlook, and there was so much that I changed. It was a whole like mindset and transformation thing for me. I went away doing lots of journaling, lots of sort of brain dumping, getting my thoughts out onto paper, like rage pages. And there's so many different ways to which you can sort of help deal with your emotions. And like the girls have said, just someone that's willing to listen. Doesn't always need to be a professional, you know, it's just sort of finding a safe space for you to be able to let it out as well can make such a big deal. But yeah, I totally agree with what Jodie says. Maybe try not to have too many expectations tomorrow. Or if you've got like questions, why don't I live my life by lists? I don't know why I didn't go in there with a list of things and just say, look, this is what I'm expecting from today. Do what you will with it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
No, maybe steer, because you're sort of steering it in the direction that you want to go in, and they sort of know what you want to get out of it a little bit. Then, if that makes any sense, I mean, I hope it hurts. I hope it helps. I hope it hurts.
That's a really good idea, because the counselling at the end of the day is for you. It isn't for the counsellor. The whole point in the session is that you get everything you need from it. So if you have got expectations, to write them down and be honest with the counsellor. I think that's an amazing idea, Jade. That's a really good idea.
So Corinne has just said that she has written down all of the reasons why this round will work, and it's really helped. So I think that's absolutely amazing. You just need, if I say this to everyone, like, I feel like writing is one of the biggest resources that we have. It's something that's always really readily available to us, and it can do so much good stuff for you. So if that's what's making you feel good, keep writing it down. Like, I'm a bit of a morning, in my morning, every morning I write down everything that I'm grateful for, and I write down like affirmations and stuff like that. So there is, did you do that too?
Yeah. Literally every day. I was a massive fan, and again, this is showing a generation thing, right? I watched The Secret. Have you ever watched The Secret?
Oh my god, I love it. It's on Netflix now still. It's amazing.
Oh, so The Secret was really in 10 years ago. Yeah. And I was low, and I was, instead of I was fearing everything. I would be like, oh my God, but it's not going to work. It was all negative ahead of me. I kept thinking, well, I'm not going to be a mum. This is ridiculous. This IVF isn't going to work. And then and I'm not saying The Secret made me pregnant at all. But what I'm saying is, watching The Secret changed my mindset. Yeah. So my friend told me, just try and switch things around. So you're not constantly fearing, but be excited for the future, because it hasn't happened yet. So you don't know if it's going to fail. So don't try not to waste too much time fearing what hasn't happened yet.
And speaking that fear into your existence.
Yeah, but it's only natural. We're human. You can't help but fear something that hasn't happened yet. But I watched The Secret and I thought, right, okay, I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to try this whole visualize to materialize thing. And damn, where's that picture? I think the picture frame broke, right? I'm going to show it on the next one, right? Okay. At the time, me and my husband were living in a tiny little flat, right, in Hackney. And I'd had like a couple of rounds of IUI that didn't work. And then I watched, then I had IVF that failed. Then I watched The Secret, right? And my husband was like, what is this rubbish? This is rubbish. And I said,
I had that.
Just go with me on this. It's my coping technique right now. This is what I want to do. for my Christmas present, he drew a picture of a house, right? Like just not like the front, but as in like all the different rooms, filled everything in. And he drew us with a baby. Oh. He gave that to me in December. And then I had my IVF in the February. And that's when I got pregnant. Now, like I said, I am not saying the secret got me pregnant. I'm just saying that the change of my mental well-being changed with that new approach. Wish I had the damn picture. I think the picture frame broke, but I'm going to definitely show it on the next one because that's
exactly what happened to me though. That's so crazy that you say that. I literally, the first place I went was The Secret, and I changed my mindset. And I always say, if I'd never done that, I wouldn't have had Layla. I wouldn't have had her. I was not aligned with it. I was not on the right frequency. I was angry. It was no place to place a baby. No, like it was just, it's crazy that you should say that. Like,
and the house that he drew the picture of is the house that we then moved into.
That's insane.
What is even more nuts is that I went into hospital in the February with OHSS. I was in there for 2 weeks. We'd sold our flat in Hackney, and he was going out trying to buy a house because we thought we've just got to buy a house. But I was too ill to go and see a house. So he bought this house without me even seeing it. And it's the house, the layout is the house that he drew.
Oh my God.
Did he even know that when he bought it? He didn't know.
No. And then we looked at this picture, and then I found out I was having twins. So he just added another little baby into the picture.
Yeah.
So it was...
We've got a comment on here from Kaylee, and she said she's a huge advocate on counselling in any aspect because it's completely changed her life, which is really nice to hear.
Oh, good.
Really nice to hear after I've frightened everyone.
Find the right counsellor and an accredited counsellor as well, because you know, if they're not accredited, you just could be doing more, like, you know, more, as you've witnessed, more damage than good.
Yeah.
So, ladies, tell me, let's try and let's lighten the mood a little bit rather than talking about jury counsellors and me trying to kill people in cars because I was on like roid rage from all of the stimulation drugs. I've got to do this because I know we did it last time briefly when we did like a little pilot run through, but no one actually heard it. I'll start because when you first find out you need to ask. When you first find out that you need to have fertility treatment, I was very ashamed. I remember going, my words were, I'm not having IVF. I'm not one of those women. I don't need to. My body works fine. Like there's nothing wrong with me. Nothing. You expect like there to be, you wake up and there'd be like a sign on your like ovary on your skin saying that's broken. Sorry, like needs maintenance. You know, it doesn't quite happen like that. And I can look back and now laugh. And I know that you've been compared to something quite ridiculous as well. I mean, my mother-in-law, I don't know, she's probably watching this. And I remember her turning around and going, oh, so you're going to have a test tube baby then, like a test tube baby. And I remember my father-in-law joking, and he still jokes about it now with me. I mean, I take it a lot better now. And he says, so is your pregnancy going to be a lot quicker then because the baby's coming by tube? Just trying to lighten the mood, you know. I mean, but there is times when people say things and it's not received very well. But I'm also in a position where I can sit back and laugh about that now because they were just as uneducated as I was. I mean, the tube bit is a joke, like that's still an ongoing joke that we have. But the test tube baby comment is something that I know if some people heard would have destroyed them. I mean, my other half was absolutely furious when she said it. Absolutely raging. She didn't know any different.
Description, isn't it? A test tube baby.
What does that even mean? What's the test tube?
They're not even made in test tubes.
They're made in dishes. It's a dish baby.
It is a dish. They are
a dish baby. But so please tell us about your comparison because it did make me laugh when you told me.
My comparison, a delightful comparison. So, you know, as I'm feeling, like I said to you, you know, less of a woman, just really unattractive, doing my best, but feeling, ugh. I was at an event and with all my husband's family, and my husband's cousin is a dairy farmer, and she was trying to be kind, and felt that she needed to address the elephant in the room. And basically, you know, I explained I have PCOS, which is why I can't get pregnant. To which she replied, "Oh my gosh, is that it?" She goes, "So many of our dairy cows have got PCOS. You know, we just let them, we just give them as much fresh air as possible, and we find that works. Have you tried getting out more into the countryside, perhaps?" And at that point, I quickly went to the bar and started drinking.
Vodka.
So yeah, I went to a dairy farm cow.
You never tried to get out a bit more into the countryside whilst doing the business?
You know what? Go on, Jodie, go on.
Sorry, I don't have comments. I mean, the comments that people said to me were just not nice, you know, not pleasant. But I have a really embarrassing story that I know I'm going to regret sharing with you all. But when I went into one of my appointments really early on in our journey, I had to take a pessary for something, and I'd never used a pessary before. And when I sat in the room with my husband and the nurse, she gave me a tablet and said, you know, you need to take this, you need to have this. And I said, "Oh my God, that's massive. I can't swallow that." And she said, "No, you're not meant to. There's your applicator. The toilets are down the corridor."
I thought you were going to say that you ate it then.
Oh no.
Oh,
I was like, how do you expect me to swallow that? And she was like, "No, darling, you're not meant to. Here you go."
Isn't it awful, all the different things that we have to do?
I know.
Pessaries are absolutely, like, they just shouldn't. I
was begging for one last week. The woman in Sainsbury's, I was begging her for one. She's like, "I don't have any. I've just got these laxatives that you can have." I was begging her for pessaries. I said that to her. I said to her, "I really want a pessary." And I remember she said to me while I was begging for these laxatives, she said, "You need to be really careful because in a minute you're just going to explode." I was like, "You have no idea. I cannot wait." And she was like, I honestly, I would, anyone that wanted to listen to me last week, I was going to tell them I'd never felt constipation pain like it. It was horrendous. So anyone that is watching, that is going through IVF, that is borderline OHSS or has OHSS or is remotely sore to the point, even before your egg collection where you've not been for a poo, please get some laxatives sorted, because I promise you, don't just ignore it, because it's not good. It's not good. It's really quite painful.
Yeah, and do you know what? Another thing, right? If you are feeling bloated, and nobody told me this until my last round. If you're feeling bloated, and you're try the hairband trick on your jeans. Did you do that?
Oh no, but I've seen that.
So if your jeans, if you're swelling because, you know, it happens, you bloat, you swell with the stimulation, your jeans feel really tight. If you know this bit here, can you see? Right. So
yeah.
Thread a hairband through here, right? So loop it in and then tuck it onto that bit, and it just gives you that extra. Yeah, you know, honestly, that was my savior. And in the end, I was getting hairbands that had more and more give. And in
the end, it was a belt.
Because people want to, like, you know, buy maternity jeans because that was just too cruel. But I think because I was, you know, quite overstimulated, I think that's why I was swelling so much. But it was such a good tip, and I just wish someone had given me that earlier. So.
Yeah, I mean, I admire you for wearing jeans while you're having IVF. I'm not going to lie. I've lived in loungewear well, since lockdown, actually. I can't even blame the IVF. I just don't really wear jeans. It's quite funny. I mean, this is nothing fertility related, but I was saying to my friend this week, I've lived in loungewear for so long, I've forgotten how to dress myself. We're all going to go out when we're allowed out, like next week, and be like, "Look at the state of you. What are you wearing?" Well, we will be anyway, because me and my friends just live in loungewear.
No, I can't do it. And in fact, at the beginning of lockdown, I bought a pair of jeans a size smaller because I thought, I know what's going to happen. I'm just going to expand. So actually, I bought these jeans, and so I live in my jeans every single day as a. God, I sound so sad.
I just admire your effort. You just must be very uncomfortable. Just can't. It's like getting a bra off me. I come in, I'm like,
oh no, yeah.
What do they say? They say if it's comfy, it's ugly.
Oh, no. I'm ugly and comfy then. I'm all about the comfort, babes.
Yeah.
I'm ugly and comfortable, and I'm here to own it. Oh my God. It's been so nice to have a little chat this morning. Obviously, if it being our first one, I don't really know what was to be expected. But it's been good fun. I've really loved it.
Next time, can I bring my things to show, my show and tell? My things.
Yeah.
I want to bring, I've got 2 pictures that help me and my journal. I want to bring them next time. Let's do show and tell.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do show and tell next week, and let's invite everyone else as well to like bring stuff along and tag us in the things that helped them get through with their idea.
Love to know what is, just that comfort, that support, that anything helping this.
So and for anyone that joins us on next week's show, live on the show, we're going to be giving away some of these, which is the Fertility Women mugs and some little pens. Jodie is going to be gifting a copy of her book, If Only,
and
as well.
These to you too today, but I totally
pineapple pins. Yay, that's going to be lush. So just a night, there'll be chances to win a couple of little Fertility Women gift sets, really, just as a nice tea for coming on and joining us live. So come and join us next week to find out exactly how to enter, and bring along anything with you that's helped you get through your IVF. Can
I just take this opportunity to say that today on IVF Babble, there will be a form up, because we've got 6 IVFs to give away.
Amazing.
Yeah,
so round of IVF.
So do you know, right? Sorry, going off on a tangent. I just want to say this is not a competition to win a baby, right? This is a giveaway trying to help somebody fund their IVF, right? That's what it is. It's financial.
It's a competition
and
to win a baby.
The only reason I say that is because Davina McCall yesterday posted on Twitter that IVF Babble are giving away 6 rounds of IVF, and somebody hacked her, and wrote. I must say, this girl has since gone on to apologise, but she's like, I think this is really off advertising a lottery to win a baby. It's like,
is that a joke? Is that because I tell you what? Oh my God, you come at me on the wrong morning to say stuff like that. We have skinted ourselves to pay for IVF, and it's no mean feat. I shouldn't even say this because it's personal. We are still paying for our IVF. My IVF is finished. Everything's been frozen because of the shit state that it ended up in, and I'm still paying for it. And if I could have had an opportunity to win a round of IVF, I mean, I'm glad, because we are fortunate enough to be able to pay for it. We are. And that's just absolutely incredible that there are companies and foundations like IVF Babble that are out there that are trying to help people have a baby. And it just goes to highlight to me the naivety of someone that has no idea what it feels like to struggle to have a baby. And that has lit a fire right underneath me. I don't want to know that.
We sold our house to pay for IVF. We sold our home to pay for IVF.
Oh, and how dare you do that? Because it's just like a lottery to have a baby. What are you going to do? Live in a box with your baby?
Exactly. So do you know what a lifeline that is to people that don't have the funds readily available? Like, you are giving people life. Yeah. You are giving people... Yes,
so uneducated. Some people will say anything for a bit of exposure on social media, won't they? Like, you know what they say? Bad press is better than no press, isn't it? Can you imagine? So just run us through about this lottery to win a baby that you're so kindly, out of the goodness of your own heart, doing. Can you give us a bit more information?
Yeah, so basically there are 6 clinics that have given us free IVF. We think we've got 2 more in the pipeline, but we're just trying to get that. And so if you just go to ivfbabble.com, it says free IVF. There's a free IVF section, and at the moment the clinics are listed, and then so you can see where they are in the world and who they are. Make sure that you like them before you even enter. And then this afternoon we'll have an entry form and all the terms and conditions, so you can see what you're actually putting your name in for. And then it's like mid-June. There's no real method to the name pulling. It's literally totally selected at random, which I know I'd love to help people that really, really need it, but right now I just don't have that capacity. So it is just helping like that. So it's that simple. IVFbabble.com, free IVF section, and the form will be up later tonight.
And a copy of this will be uploaded anyway to IVF Babble as well, won't it, to Babble TV?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Wow. I think that sums it up. I'm just going to check that we've not had any comments that we've missed. Do any of you have any BBT trackers that you prefer for PCOS? Yeah, I really like the Obvisense one. It's an internal tracker, and it's actually the best way to record your basal body temperature. It's because it's, as you know, Kaylee, I know you know this anyway. Ovulation kits can be really, really tricky when you've got PCOS, because of the levels that fluctuate because of cysts and stuff throughout the month. So definitely your temperature tracking would be probably the best way that you would be able to predict your ovulation accurately, or as accurately as possible. And the Obvisense are really good. And I think I've got a discount code somewhere for them actually. I will find it out and send it to you.
I think also if you on IVF Babble, if you go into the menu bar, it says shop. And there's loads of different products in that shop, and I think Obvisense are in there as well. And there's if they are, there'll be a discount code at the bottom of the description.
Perfect. Right, love the IVF giveaway. It's such a great idea. If this frozen embryo transfer doesn't work, we'd have to take a loan out to fund any future cycles. I hear you. I don't even know where this would go for us. So they abandoned my cycle, but even when I was ill in bed the weekend that I got admitted to hospital, I spoke to my consultant and they were still talking about doing a frozen transfer. They were still talking about doing a fresh transfer. This was like the Saturday, the Sunday. And they said, well, we can go 7 days at a push. So we'll leave your embryos till Friday at a push to put something back. And in the end, I was in agony. I was in hospital, and the consultant came around and said, well, we're just going to have to freeze them all. But there's been no mention of how the funding is moving forward. Whereas far as I'm aware, it's something that they should fund if I was overstimulated. But it's just not even a bridge I'm willing to cross right now. I don't even want to fill my brain with any of those thoughts. I just want to recover mentally and physically. But I totally know what you mean, Corinne. It triggers all different kinds of anxiety, doesn't it? It really does.
I can't wait until we're back next week.
Me too. I'm so excited to see you all next week. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I'm going to get this shared across other platforms, and anyone that you know that you think will benefit from it, please do share it with them too. We look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Show and tell next week.
Yeah, show and tell next week. Yeah. See you later. Bye.
Bye.